Hello folks, Jan Montarsi here from Gembox Designs. Today we are going to be working with the Create template. If you haven't seen my previous videos, this is the Create template. It's a slotted sheet with different degrees of angles marked in a perpendicular line for making quilt square patterns, 3D rhombus patterns. The template comes with two micro thin blades that only work with the template. No other blades will fit into the template. If you'd like to buy any of the tools you see here, my Facebook store is Blendangles. It's all one word. Go to Facebook, go to Blendangles, go to my photo albums. There's an album called Blendangles Store. You can see all the tools I sell and their prices and shipping, and then message me and I will send you a PayPal request. That's how I do it. I'm very low tech. I'm going to take this out of the way. Tools you'll need to have today, and this is what we'll be working on. Let me get to this first. I will be showing you how to cut and assemble 5, 6, and 8-point stars, quilt patterns with the same size triangle that goes with the 5-point stars, the 8-point stars, and I'll be demoing the 6-point pattern. We'll show you how to cut and assemble 3D rhombus patterns, and we will also show you the Geodesic dome pattern, which is a 3D rhombus pattern also. That's what we'll be covering today. I will be working on a 1/2-inch scale, which is this size. These are all doable in the smaller 1/4-inch scale, but for the video, it's easier for you to see what I'm doing with the larger size. So I'm going to move these out of the way. And the first thing we're going to work on is the 5-point star. Very simple to do. Those are two different versions. Before I get that, I want to go over the tools. Like I said, we have the Create template. It comes with two micro thin blades. I will be using my workhorse blade, which is a big 8-inch long, thick, heavy duty blade. It's great for releasing sheets and for cutting the clear width across your sheets out of your pasta machine. Even on the 180 millimeter machines, it goes the whole way across the sheet. And a standard utility blade I'm going to move these out of the way also. So, to get started, if you've watched some of my other videos, the one on striped quilt square patterns, which were these, I show you how to make a striped sheet. And this is the striped sheet I'll be using today. And what we are making is this spiral 5-point star. I really like those. They remind me of primitive, I don't know what those things are called. God's eyes. The Indian web designs. Anyway, here's what I made out of this sheet, and we're going to reproduce it. Sorry, my camera's a little low because I'm trying to keep the best view for you folks. So, I like to cut on tiles, and we work on cardstock. Oh, I never did go over all the tools. I went over the blades. We'll be using cardstock to work on, and we will be using cut pieces of cardstock to release our clay off of the big sheet. It works better than a blade. A brayer or roller, a burnisher, whatever kind you have, and patty papers. I mentioned this one in my quilt square video. So you can go there and watch that and get the link for that. That's all tool-wise we really need. So I've created my striped sheet, and now we're going to cut it. So, really trying to give you folks the best view today. So here's my striped sheet. I've cut a nice straight edge along my that goes along with my lines, same direction. On my template, I have a 45-degree angle and I have a 20-degree angle, 120-degree angle. We will be using both those angles to create the 5-point triangles. It's very simple. I'm taking my 45-degree angle line first. In this case, I happen to be looking at it backwards, like a backwards L. I'm going to line that line right up along my sheet. Cutting through the template, I'm going to make 1/2-inch cuts. So that's every other line. Every line is a 1/4 inch. Every other line is a 1/2 inch. I always put my blade in, mark my next spot, then make my cut. Then I'm ready to put my blade into the next one. Mark my next spot, and so on. I think I did that right. I get off sometimes. Release your template from all 4 corners so you don't pull your clay up off the tile. Now, leaving your clay the same direction, I'm going to move to the 120-degree angle. And we're going to put that on the same edge. And you will see the resulting diamond-shaped patterns here. That light is glaring really bad. Okay. That's right on that edge. And same thing, I'm going to cut the other direction. Every other line, which is a 1/2 inch. Mark my next. Next. And this one won't be any. So then what you end up with, which I have an extra one cut here, just in case. Take a piece, oops, sorry. I'm going to release it from my tile. And when you're releasing your clay from your tile, you can't probably see it. There's angle lines that way and that way. Try to pick one of those and use that as your direction for releasing your clay off your tile. And then we're going to transfer our clay to a piece of cardstock to work on. Now we're going to just start breaking it apart, and find the best way to break it apart is just fold it over and pull it back. Fold it over. Try not to distort your ends. Now this may be scrap. I don't know. No, I have a cut there. I'm going to fold this one over and pull it away. There will be scrap at the edges. If you're using just a solid color clay, yep, there's one where I missed a set. So we'll be using these pieces. I missed a cut. These are the size diamonds we're going for. And I worked on a very small sheet, so I'm only going to get a few. But I think I have enough for, and that's why we have backup. I usually work on larger sheets. There we go. That gives us 5. Now I'm going to move this out of the way. Put your 5 points together. I usually put a set of 2 together. And if you have hot hands like I do, it's a lot easier to use another piece of cardstock to get your piece in place. And then I just touch it when I get it in place. Lift up the card a little and slide it out if you need to. Then the last 2, I'll put these 2 together. Make sure they're lined up properly. The light's really glaring in my eyes. I hope it's okay for you folks. Then, oh, that did not go together right. Pull those apart. Put my points together. and make sure. Still not right. The striped colors make it a little difficult to see, but you will get the hang of it. Okay. Then we'll insert that last piece into the pattern. Nice, perfect star. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer this to a tile. I'm going to use a piece of waxy side down deli paper and my burnisher, and just go. Now in this case, in my other videos, I go in straight lines. This one I am going in circles. Just to burnish that together. Because the pattern is spiral, the circles are fine. Now my star is done. Now I've flattened out a little bit here. So that's where this blade comes into hand. And hopefully you can watch me do this. All I'm doing is straightening out my lines. Going around on one side of the diamonds. Then I will go the other direction, making sure all my seams are pushed in and I have a nice, perfectly even star. It's just usually a little scooch and you're done. You can back it, do whatever you like with that. Now, I won't be showing all these steps in the next versions. Move this out of the way. Now we have the 6 and the 8-point star. The 6-point star. Now I use solid colors. And I don't think I really need to show you this, but I'm going to. The 6-point star is cut with the 120-degree angle only. So here I have my sheet of clay. I have my nice straight cut on the edge. I'm going to plate, this is my 120 degree. I'm going to place that bottom leg of my angle on that line. And use my micro thin blade and do my first cut, mark my next one, mark my next one, make my cut, mark my next one, make my cut, mark my next one, make my cut. I say that to myself even when I'm working. It just helps me get my flow going. Now, reorient my piece, pull up your template on multiple areas so that you don't pull your clay sheet off the tile. Now I have one cut going that way. This is how my template was. I'm just going to turn it to the other leg of the 120-degree angle. Place my template and make my other cuts. Start with the first one, every other one. Okay. I don't think I missed any lines. Now I'm going to remove this from my tile. Like I said, you can probably see the lines better in this one. I am going to be following one of the directions of the cut lines. It just seems to help get it off in a nice undistorted piece. And I only need a few of these for this, so I'm going to set this out of the way. Now, we're making the 6-point. I'm going to use the ones I have ready here already. 6-point is the same process as the 5-point. I put half of it together first. Then I make another half. And these are nice in leached clay, so they are not distorting even in the heat of my lamps. They're put together nicely, and you will do a better job, I'm sure, when you're working in the untime restraint of making a video. This really makes you work on being a perfectionist. And there's your 6-point star. Same process, burnish it. Now with this one, when you burnish, you want to follow the star pattern in straight lines. Try not to tip on your edges and smash down, but then you would move it to a tile, burnish it some more, and then do the same process with your blade while it's on the tile of straightening out your sides. I will be using this in a later part of our demonstration, so I'm going to take that apart and leave it here. And also this pink goes with that part, so I will leave that all there also. The 8-point star is the same process. And I have some here, which will lead me into, oh, no I don't. Where are they? There they are. The 8-point star, the difference with this one, when you're using your template on your sheet of clay, you will be using the 45-degree angle. So you will cut with your template on your nice straight edge line, 1/2 inch marks one direction, turn it to the other side of the 45-degree angle, cut your other 1/2 inch directions, and then you will have longer triangles, longer diamonds, and it's the same process. Put together half of a star, and then put together the other half of the two, and then marry the two. I'm not going to show you that. It's the same process as the others. Move it to a tile, burnish, straighten out your edge with a standard utility blade. That leads us to diamond patterns. Now I'm not going to show you how to cut all the diamonds. I will tell you what sizes these are. This particular pattern is the same as the 6-pointed star. So that's 220-degree opposing cuts. Now when you're putting together a pattern, like if you're going to make a big sheet of clay to cover a box or something large, I started and I made a 4-diamond pattern. Then I made 2 more diamonds and add it to it. As it grows, I make longer and longer strips. So in this case, I'm going to make a 5-diamond strip and add it to the end. So my first one's going to be white, then red, and I'm off. Take your time and get your pieces put together properly. Makes all the difference in the world. The bright lights are really messing with my glasses. I usually place the point and then tip it down. I have the best success for that. You might find another way that works better for you. There is a little piece of white clay sitting right there. I need to get out of the way. This is why I work on paper and with leached clay, because they don't really stick, but they hold on to each other just enough to keep them together. You can pull them apart easily if you need to. So, assuming I did this right, and I've had my disasters, there's my next row of diamonds to go onto my sheet. And I'm going to watch to make sure my patterns line up. I'm looking at the lines here. And see, that one's a little off. So I'm going to move it up. That one's lined up, and that one's lined up. Snug them together, and you can go do another row of 5. By that time, then your next row would be 6. And you can build a biggest sheet as you need for this. So there's that process for putting a diamond sheet together. And that would have been this pattern. If you're using the 5-star pattern, you get this one. This is the 6-star pattern. And I lost my 8-star. And this is the more longer 8-star pattern. Alrighty. Trying to get through these quickly because I want to get to the 3D rhombus square because they're the funnest for me. Is that a word? Okay, I think we're up to those. Clear a little room in my space here. Next, we're going to be doing the 3D rhombus. Now, I need to talk to you about blending clay colors. In this particular one that's already made here, I used black, white, and gray. And I had made a 50-50 mix of white and black to get my gray. And then when I started putting together, the colors of the black and white to gray together were so far apart that it didn't really give me the full effect of the 3D-ness. So I took a tiny bit of the gray or white and mixed into the black just to tone it and bring it closer to the color of the gray. And I took the tiniest piece of gray and mixed in with my white. I don't know if you can tell the color difference on camera, but there's just a slight grayness to my white. And you can't tell that when it's by itself, but when it's up against another pure white, you can. When you're mixing other colors, and I have pictures on my Facebook page, and I'll post one here if I can. If not, I'll give the link. Different colors. If you are making yellow, it's all the same. I'm going to work with reds today, red and white, so you can see what I did color-wise. And that leads me back to this sheet. So this is cad red, and then this is cad red with white, and this is cad red with black. Now, this is a probably 10% black to my cad red. This is probably 20% red to my white. And you can play with the colors, as far as strengths, but that for the colors, that's usually a good range. Add 10% black to your middle color, your main color, and add 80% white to your main color. Now, I did put a pinch of white in my red because I wanted it to brighten it up and make it a little lighter without making it pink. So this does have a tiny pinch of white in it. Now, we're going to be making the 3D rhombus, which is this pattern. Get my scrap out of the way. I'll pull these apart. Actually, I can leave those together. So, what we're going to do, we need to break up a few of these triangles. And usually, when you make these, you will find after your second cut, they break one direction easier than they do another. So, if you bend it this way, it breaks easy. Going that way may be a little harder, but it depends on your clay consistency. But I have plenty of those here to work with. I always cut extra so that I don't have to go back and do it while I'm assembling. Make a few more of these here. And try to take care of your pieces. Try not to bend or distort them. And as I said, I can't stress enough, if your clay is firm or slightly leached, you have much better success rate. All right. This is actually very simple. I'm going to make some room here. I'm going to get me a fresh card. Now, here's another thing. I use this card as like you would a blade to get it off tile, but as it gets gunked up, just take scissors and cut yourself a new clean edge. I'm just making myself a little room here in the middle. That's one thing. I made my template to be jewelry size. So you don't need, they make giant quilt templates, but they are so big they take up your whole table. That one's not a right triangle. All right, so you take one from each color and you just put them together in sets of 3s. Making sure you're lined up. Take your time and put your triangles, your diamonds. I don't know why I keep saying triangles. They are diamonds. My favorite cane shape is a triangle. So there's 2. There is 3. Okay, there's 4 so far. You see how quickly this goes together. And I've had a little practice, so my pieces are going together probably faster than yours will at the beginning. Now I have all these little squares. Might as well make them all. Seems to be going quite quickly. Okay, 3, 6, 7. We only need 6 for this. So now I'm going to position in all my squares in the same direction. I'm having dark side towards me. I'm having the red on that side and the pink on that side. Now this one I put together. You can put, see, these are, oh, no, that one's right. Some of these I put together with the pink on the other side, but that's fine. We can just flip those over. These 2, so I need to flip one over. I love it when I make mistakes so that you guys can see how to fix them. So now I'm going to join this first row together. And this one is not quite put together nicely. I'm going to take it apart and do it again. This is where my card, because my hands are starting to get hot. Separate that a little and put it back together. There we go. My middle's nice, so I held that while I separated the edge. And then I'll put in my last cube. Now, this one needs to be put together. At this point, I'm going to take this and move it to my tile. And before I let it all the way off, I'm just making sure all my seams are matched. This one's having a little issue there. There we go. Shiny side down on your wax paper. And like with my quilt squares, go with the cut lines. Don't go in circles or you round your cut line. Just all the directions, but don't go in circles. Go with straight lines. Now normally I would burnish this, and once it's connected very nicely and very smooth, and it's all, well, I just caught myself going in circles. Try not to do that. It's a natural response. And I see some areas. Use your finger sometimes to get some heat. Usually when I use my fingers, I'm on the top of each diamond, not on the joins between them. It seems to press them into each other better. And then go back over with your burnisher to flatten out the seams. There we have it. Now, just like with the stars, you can go down each side if you need to. I go one way all the way around and straighten out your, these look pretty good, but you can just go all the way around. Now here you can see, hopefully you can see, it's a little off, so I can take my blade and just push that back into where it needs to be. And I may burnish these and do this process a couple times with each one. Now, or here's another thing, you can make a big sheet of this. Just keep building rows. And when you're building them, if you say you want to have a sheet that's about this wide, that would be about 5 more of these. So build 8 blocks across, and then make, the other ones, and just build your rows and put your rows together, paying attention to your seams and joints. But that's how you make a 3D rhombus. I made these for poker chips for a recent retreat I went to. Hopefully they were a big hit. They're a lot of fun to make. Here's the smaller 1/4-inch version. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, this one. These are pretty much identical up to a point, and I'll show you this one. And I want to show you, I have on my Facebook Blendangles page, there's a post I recently posted, and the post is an inspiration post, and of course my printer is doing funky things. I'm going to try this pattern next, but there's a whole bunch of pictures like this on that post with my ideas in the captions of how I would achieve these. This one is particularly I like because this could be done with, different silk screenings. But the pattern I want you to look at for today, where is it? I just had it, oh, it's underneath. This pattern is what I use for this star, or for this rhombus shape. And you can see there's a 6-point star there that are made out of half pieces. And this particular pattern is in a very odd order. And if you look, I'm going to use some paper here and try to show you this. There's one row. And you can see it's dark diamond, medium diamond, light diamond, medium diamond, dark, medium, light, medium. And then there's light all across the bottom and dark across the top. Then you go up to the next row, and then it's a different pattern. But then, you can see, I'll show you both of them. So this one was a little harder to put together. But this overall geodesic dome, and I'm going to tell you some things here in a minute of what to search for. This all over pattern, if you look, I have it folded here on 2 sections. And it's really, there's a row of white half diamonds. Then there's, on top of that, medium dark, medium light. And there's actually 4 colors on this one. There's a medium gray, a darker gray, black, and white. But if you pull these up on the internet, there's a lot of fun patterns that you can do with all these shapes. What you want to search is, I don't know if you can read that, but it is on the face, 3D vector triangle patterns, 3D vector diamond patterns. You want to search 3D rhombus, which is RHOMBUS, rhombus patterns. You can search for 3D quilt patterns. But to get to this last one here, I'm going to go back to my same sheet, because if you notice in this one, even though I didn't put it together in the way the rows are, I used this as a pattern, and I can't tell you which part it is at the moment. But if you look at this, each triangle has all 3 colors. Every one of these separate triangles has all 3 colors. So what I did is I made squares, three of each color squares. And I'm looking for my utility blade. It's easier, this is stiffer and easier to hold. And after I get it put together, I just get a nice precise lineup on the points of my diamond. It's kind of hard to do this on camera. But I cut these away. I'll get out of the shadow for you. Line that right up on my points. So I would put together a bunch of squares. Now you can do this half triangles with the template, but it was much easier for me to do it this way. Now, out of every one that you cut those away, you now have 2. So you can make a bunch of these. And remember, like this is, I have my red on this side, but on this one it's on this side. All you have to do is flip them over. But you can quickly become very efficient at doing assembly line. Cut all your diamonds, make all your squares, cut all your squares, the points off of 3 sides, reassemble those. And make a whole bunch of these. And then, like this one, I had to, because this was my first one, I had to decide that this was light, dark, medium. But my next one was medium. I didn't need to flip it. Medium, dark, light. And as you put these together, the 3D effect just pops out like it did on this one. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you go to my Facebook page, Blendangles, all one word, go to my photo albums, you can find the link for the Create template. I do have, today is, what is today? March 9th. I have a small supply right now. I will have more coming in the end of the month, the 1st of November, somewhere in that time frame. But I have a few to sell for now. I also have other tools. I have my brayers. I have extra blades. If you buy the template, it comes with 2 blades. If you want extras, they're on there. My workhorse blades are on there also. There's some Skinner blending tools, which are the original Blendangles. They're different sets. They're sized to fit specific pasta machines. There's a 150 Atlas size, which is your standard machine, and then there's a 180 size, and there's a deluxe set with all the size. And then there's a two mini triangle set that you can make, you know, most of any skin or blend you want with. And I have videos on all those on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is under just my name, Jan Montarsi, JanMontarsi. That's my YouTube channel name. But there'll be links on my Blendangles page to those videos. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great weekend, if it is your weekend. And I'll see you in my next video.